King Pyrrhus's life is an epic tale of his rise to power, of tragic loss and outrageous misfortune. So much so that his name gives us the saying, Pyrrhic victory. He won a victory against Rome in 279 BC, but at an enormous, almost crippling cost. That was 7 years ago. Now Pyrrhus has raised a mighty army to take Greece, and after some early success, he heads to the city of Sparta, the home of the heroes of Thermopylae. Word has reached Pyrrhus that Sparta is ill-defended. King Arius of Sparta and many of his best warriors are away fighting in Crete, and only a small force is present. What better time is there to attack? A city with most of its army away on campaign is an easy target. Little does Pyrrhus know, but even a handful of Spartan youths and Helot slaves can put up a heroic struggle. And what is more, reinforcements are on their way. Pyrrhus must take the city now, and take it quickly. CARRHAE, 55 BC. The army of Marcus Licinius Crassus marches deep into Parthia. Crassus is in the east, looking for glory and riches. He needs both in the struggle for ultimate power back in Rome. For weeks he has marched after the Parthian army. They are drawing him deep into their own lands. Now the Romans think that the Parthians won't fight, and the Roman cavalry are too far ahead of the main column. They've ridden straight into a Parthian trap. Heavy cataphracts close in. And easily massacre the outnumbered Roman cavalry. Now the Parthian horse archers are free to harass the Roman infantry. Crassus orders his legions to form the testudo as protection against arrow fire. This leaves them vulnerable in hand-to-hand combat. And the cataphracts are on their way. Only the few remaining Roman cavalry will have any chance of routing the Parthian horse archers. Julius Caesar is, by any definition, a successful Roman general and politician. In a series of brilliant campaigns, he has defeated many Gallic tribes and brought new lands into the Roman Empire. His Roman legionaries, veterans of many battles, take pride in their skill and valor. Vercingetorix, the leader of the Avernii tribe, has revolted against Roman rule. For once, Caesar has been overtaken by events, forced to react rather than forge his own destiny. is now 1 year later, and the rebellion is not yet crushed. At Gergovia, the Gauls are ready, watching the Roman army on a nearby hill. Wary of being ambushed, Caesar has sent Roman legionaries to the far side of Gergovia to watch for any encircling enemies. But the Gauls are equally suspicious and send their entire army to watch over the marching Romans. Too far from the main army to allow reinforcement, the small Roman detachment is ambushed and destroyed by Gallic warriors. Seeing that the Gauls have abandoned their camp, Caesar orders his troops towards the fort. As the news of Caesar's attack reaches the Gauls, they move to counter the Romans. And Caesar, in turn, recognizes the new danger and sounds the retreat. But the legions appear not to have heard their new orders. Instead, the Romans charge the fort. Caesar's men suddenly find themselves on dangerous ground, surrounded by angry Gauls. The ram must be protected if the Romans are to take the fort. Perhaps then the tables can be turned on the barbarians. It is more than a century since the death of Alexander the Great. His glorious empire has shattered into a number of warring successor kingdoms. In Egypt, Pharaoh Ptolemy IV is a Greek ruler on the Egyptian throne. He has not been a loved or respected ruler. He is so popular that his generals and governors have gone over to the rival Seleucids. The Seleucid king, Antiochus III, has designs on the border region of Cilicia, recently taken by Ptolemy. It is spring, in 217 BC, and the confrontation is nearing a climax. With Egypt weakened by defections, Antiochus has marched to war near the town of RAPHIA. Diplomacy has delayed the fighting long enough. Ptolemy's chariots and bowmen stand ready to unleash a storm of death upon the Seleucid ranks. Antiochus hopes his powerful phalanx and swift cavalry will teach the Egyptians a bloody lesson. War now looms. Even though he is an experienced leader, Antiochus has been carried away by the thrill of a cavalry charge. He is cut off from the rest of his army. The battle now hangs in the balance. The Seleucid king is in mortal danger, surrounded by enemies. Antiochus must regroup, or the Egyptians will carry the day. It is the early 3rd century BC, and the military prestige of the Greek successors has reached its zenith in the person of King Pyrrhus of Epirus. But the fledgling state of Rome is trying to secure her supremacy on Italian soil. Two cultures are about to clash at Asculum in southeast Italy. After a day of inconclusive fighting in the forests and hills, Pyrrhus maneuvers the Romans into a head-on battle where his forces must win the day. Elephants and phalanxes against the legions of Rome. Can the Romans hold the field against the best Greece has to offer, or will they crumble and flee? BC, and the bloody First Punic War is at an end. Rome now expects little resistance as she uses her might and influence. The mere sight of her armies quashes any signs of opposition. Peace, however, never seems to last. Gallic tribes and mercenaries have marched from Transalpine Gaul into Etruria through an unguarded pass in the Apennines. To meet this invasion, the Romans have called on resources and manpower from across central and southern Italy. A powerful defensive force has been rapidly mobilized. They have outmaneuvered the Gauls, forcing these barbarians towards the Tuscan coast. Meanwhile, a second Roman army has landed at Pisa. The Gauls now have no line of retreat. They are surrounded, trapped. Assailed from both sides, the Gauls must fight for their very existence as a free people. Their only hope for survival is to quickly defeat the Roman forces in front of them. and then turn to deal with the Romans approaching from the rear. Or their defeat is certain. The River Trebia, 218 BC. Having sworn an oath at his father's deathbed, the young Hannibal Barca, general of the mighty Carthaginians, sets out to destroy the Romans. Having lost many men marching across the freezing Alps, Hannibal gathers the survivors and prepares to face the might of Rome. His forces are no match for the Roman legions. Hannibal must use the element of surprise if he is to have a chance. He hides his finest cavalry in the forests, and then sends his Numidian mercenary cavalry across the river to lure the Romans into the trap. The Romans take the bait and chase the Numidians back across the freezing river. The scene is set for Hannibal to stage his ambush. Timing is crucial. If his cavalry charge too soon, they'll be isolated and cut down by the Roman infantry. If they charge too late, the Carthaginian front line will buckle before the Roman advance. Hannibal also knows that he must use his elephants to create fear and terror. Failure to use these two key units to maximum effect will spell disaster for Hannibal's campaign against Rome. Rome is not the only power rising along the shores of the Mediterranean. Another people, the Carthaginians, have imperial ambitions. Their empire is growing in Spain, even as the Romans secure the Italian peninsula. For Rome, Caius Flaminius has been sent north to deal with the Carthaginian problem. And it is a problem. Hannibal Barca, the greatest Carthaginian general ever, is on the march. He swore an oath to his dying father that he would never give the Romans a moment's peace. Hannibal has already kept his oath at Trebia. After that victory, he forced the Romans back onto the defensive. Now, with his army at Lake Trasimene, Hannibal plans to lure another Roman army into a brutal ambush. He has every reason to hope the Romans will cooperate in their own deaths. The Romans quickly moved to meet the obvious threat from Hannibal's men. Unaware of the danger, Flaminius orders his leading units to attack. Hannibal springs his trap. His waiting troops are ordered to attack the unprepared Romans. The Carthaginian plan is to sweep down on the Roman flank and drive their enemies into the icy waters of Lake Trasimene. Only courage and Roman discipline will save the Roman army. The legionaries must turn and face the oncoming Carthaginians and keep themselves from being surrounded. Thessaly, northern Greece. This is the army of Titus Flaminius, camped below the Cynocephalae Ridge. It is morning, and Flaminius has sent a scout party up onto the ridge to survey the terrain. 2 days have passed since the Macedonians were first sighted at FAYIUM to the south. There, Flaminius defeated Philip in a cavalry skirmish. Flaminius suspects that the enemy are close by. How right he will turn out to be. has formed his phalanx spearmen into a line across the top of the ridge. It's going to be a difficult battle. Phalanx spearmen are tough to beat in a frontal assault, especially going uphill. However, not all of Philip's left flank is in position. A decisive strike here could be a chance to seize the initiative. To arms, then. To the task at hand. May the strength of the eagle carry the day. This is the year 9 AD. The place, Germania, beyond the Empire's border. This is the army of Quintilius Varus, sent north by Augustus to pacify the Germans. Guided by a trusted local chieftain, Arminius, the legion is heading back to winter camp. But life on the frontier can be treacherous, brutal, and short. Thanks to Arminius, the Romans are marching into danger. Hidden in the forest, there's an army of savage German warriors, fired up and thirsty for Roman blood. As the danger becomes obvious, Varus gallops to the head of the column. He has to get his men back to the fort before sunset. Once darkness falls, the Germans will be able to kill them at will. This is a chance for Varus to prove that he has the right stuff, that he is a noble Roman, and a noble Roman general at that. If he isn't, he'll be a noble Roman corpse by sunset, and no one will get home. The camp is in sight. One last push by the Romans should see them home, but without enough survivors, this will be a black day for Rome and a massive victory for the barbarians. Legend tells of Arthur and his knights. A man born of Roman blood, a leader, a king, a warrior who saved his people. Having fought many great battles against the Saxons, Arthur rides towards the last battle at Badon Hill. By nightfall, he will be victorious, or his kingdom will have been snuffed out. Lord Amalric, Arthur's comrade in arms, has been surrounded by the Saxons, eager to see blood spilled. If Amalric falls, Arthur is beaten. The kingdom of Britannia will never be united. The Saxons will rule all. Arthur's allies have onagers to provide covering fire. Arthur must crush the Saxons on the opposite bank and ride hard to save Amalric. Death, destruction, and the axe are all that Arthur can expect if he fails. CHALONS, Gaul, 451 AD. Attila the Hun, the scourge of God, and his rampaging horde ride to battle once more. A burning swathe of destruction and misery is left in Attila's wake. Ahead lies the soft heartland of the Western Roman Empire, ripe for plunder. The whole of Western Europe is at his mercy. But the last true Roman and defender of Roman civilization bars Attila's path. Flavius Aetius commands a formidable Roman force. A host of heavy cavalry prepares to strike hard, while heavy infantry provides the backbone to his army. And carriage ballistae prepare to strike from distance. Rome's Visigothic allies, commanded by King Theoderic, stand ready to join battle. Attila is expert in the ways of war. He knows the value of high ground to an army. Every wood is a place from which to release his hidden troops in ambush. The storm crows circle overhead. The hour has come.
It is 338 BC, and relations between the cities of Greece and the Kingdom of Macedon have broken down. Philip, King of Macedon, is on the move south and means to bring the cities of Athens and Thebes to heel. Assembled against him on the plains of CHAERONEA are the combined forces of the Athenian and Theban armies. Among their numbers are the dreaded Theban Sacred Band, an elite corps of 300 strong. Philip knows that their very presence on the battlefield will strike terror into the hearts of his men. But Philip has a secret weapon of his own. He is joined on his march by his son Alexander, commanding the elite Macedonian cavalry. Alexander is young in age, but exceptional in personal courage and ability. The cavalry under his command will be key today in finding victory. Philip knows that the Thebans will have to be neutralized and quickly if his men are to find the necessary resolve to hold back the Greek phalanx. The plan is for Philip to engage the main Greek line with the Macedonian army. At the same time, Alexander will lead his cavalry against the three sacred vanguards along the river. Should Alexander fail to neutralize the Thebans or wander from his objective, the Macedonian army will likely be overcome. Alexander must find a way to defeat the sacred land with his cavalry if his father and country are to taste victory today. It is late in the day as the Macedonian army approaches the river Granicus. Scouts have reported a large concentration of Persian troops on the far bank. Horse archers from Scythia and heavy cavalry from Hyrcania and Bactria, together with mounted axemen from Vulcania. Memnon of Rhodes, a mercenary officer, commands them. He has chosen the battle site well. The Granicus is in full flow, and its steep, slippery banks present a formidable obstacle. The Persians seem confident that Alexander will not try and attack so late in the day. The young Macedonian king has faith in the readiness of his battle-hardened troops for such a challenge. His phalangists provide a stable with slow-moving platform, their soft flanks guarded by the more mobile HYDASPES. With the excellent Thessalian cavalry and his own famed companions, Alexander has the men to deal the Persians a heavy blow. His destiny balanced on a sword's edge, Alexander prepares to sound the advance. And Port HALICARNASSU, 334 BC. With many Persian survivors from the defeat at Granicus regrouping within the strong walls, this could be a bloody encounter. Alexander is keen to avoid a lengthy siege, which would slow the impetus of his onslaught against the Persians. determined assault against the walls by his HYDASPES will allow his heavier troops access to the town itself. Resistance should crumble once the town center is taken. Information as to the exact number and quality of troops within the city walls is limited. Spearmen and archers have been sighted on the walls, including Persian immortals who wield both spear and bow. There is also evidence of fodder having been gathered for a number of horses. Though Alexander has a formidable force at his disposal, he will need to proceed. A wrong move here could prove disastrous to his wider plans. The river Pinarus, south of Issus. With the Persians in his rear, Alexander faces a seemingly impossible task. The Persian king Darius has taken the field, having lost so many of his generals in the Granicus defeat. He leads a huge army, drawn from all over his vast kingdom that greatly outnumbers the invaders. Amongst them are the immortals, infantry armed with both spear and bow. There are also units of heavy cavalry from Bactria, mercenary Greek heavy infantry, and bowmen from Martyr. Crossing the shallow waters, the Pinarus, in the face of the Persian army, seems an impossibility. But Alexander is a shrewd commander. The Persians will find it hard to outflank his small force on this narrow battlefield. And the keystone of their morale is their king. The opportunity to break Darius and his vast army is too tempting for a man of Alexander's heroic temperament. It is 331 BC, Alexander's campaign against the Persian Empire is now in its third year, and has brought the young king many victories. Alexander continues to lead his army deep into unfamiliar Middle Eastern territory. This time, only 25. His scouts have brought him reports of a Persian force close by. To avenge the defeat of Granicuus. He has gathered around him a larger army than Alexander, comprised of troops from all corners of the Persian Empire. Darius has deployed his army across a wide plain, and has specially used the field of Darius has lured Alexander to be his chosen battle. His army far outnumbers others. The odds will appear to be stacked against the government empire. But Alexander is well advanced, and those his troops are as a plan to exploit the weaknesses of the Persian. Alexander suspects that Darius lacks personal courage, and knows that the superstitious Persian troops are unlikely to continue to fight on without their king. If Alexander can chase Darius into flight, as he did at Isis, the Persian army will likely fall into despair. However, Darius is heavily guarded, and it will be difficult to break through to him. Alexander must maneuver Darius's battle line in order to get to the king. Should he fail to rout Darius, the Persian army will march forward at full strength and engulf the river Hydaspes, 326 BC. Having conquered the Persian Empire, Alexander persuades his battle-weary army to march deep into Asia. His army now boasts Persian recruits in the form of the Mardian archers and Scythian horse. Way into India is barred by the river Hydaspes. And King Horus guards the river with a huge army. Amongst the Indian army are large numbers of fearsome warriors. Alexander knows that his army cannot possibly break through such a formidable defense. But several days ago, his scouts discovered another fording point several miles upstream. And Alexander has a plan. He camps his main army in FAYIUM and spends the next 4 weeks ordering large amounts of troops. As expected, Horus follows their movements. Eventually, the Indians grow complacent and ignore the Macedonians. Alexander is now ready to lead a large force across the unguarded ford and take the fight to Porus.